Oh, baby, I know you want me back. I bet you never had someone like me. If we were together, you know I'd make your world that much
Good morning, good morning. Y'all it was already in the 3 o'clock morning hour, and that was Tanisha Begay. If we were together, ain't that the truth? If we were all together, we would have a big old family winging, or we just accept more people into our clan and enjoy yourself. Well, this is Wanda. Keep it right here on AM 660, FM 101.5, KTNN.
Hey, parents. Introducing the Communicizer. Go from boring old man speak.
I'm here if you want to talk.
To 100% off the chain.
Text me whatever, Joe.
I love you, Dad.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Yeah, hi. I just want, hang on one second, let me check. 2.99 taco, or sorry, 4.99 tacos with hot sauce. That's it. That's it. Thanks. I thought those were no tax. By the time that shit's paid, I'm gonna figure it out. fucking camera running? I did. Oh shit, sorry. God damn, you kidding me? I'm sorry, I can't hover for it. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna hang on. I have these sweatpants on. It's dry. It's not good. No, don't worry about it. My hands are dirty. Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, I get it. No, trust me. I used to work in food service. I don't take offense to that. It's all good. It's all good. So, you're giving me change back and everything, or do you need change? Here, I'll give you exact. How much? 51 or 51? So that way you don't have to worry about it. I apologize. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Yes, a little bit of hot sauce would be great. You have a great one. That's right. That was fun. I gotta smell that shit. I gotta listen to it.
And so it helped a lot of his patients with MS. And all of a sudden, the people on Broadway and the great writers were all sent to Max Jacobson for this special concoction that he never really told people what were the contents.
Richard, were his intentions originally all good?
You know, there's so many gray areas with Max Jacobson, but originally his intentions were as a medical doctor that he wanted to take away the pain from patients that were hopeless. So he really didn't have, in the beginning, an evil intent for anything. What he really wanted was what he used it was what finally was to gain power, and then he used it not to everybody's benefit at that point.
Was he based out of the L.A. area? I assume he was, with the kind of clientele he had.
No, he was based out of Lexington Avenue in New York City.
Oh, really? Okay.
And his son became a physician in Los Angeles, so he had a kind of a franchise in Los Angeles during the 60s and 70s.
How did he get the code name Dr. Feelgood?
The Secret Service gave him a code name of Dr. Feelgood. We got to interview Paul Landis and know Paul very well, who was the Secret Service agent with Clint Richardson to the Kennedys, and to Jackie Kennedy, and to the John Kennedy. And they gave him that nickname because they knew exactly what he was feeding the president.
How do you think they first approached him to get him as a doctor? What happened?
John Kennedy had a roommate from Harvard, and his name was Chuck Spaulding. And during the 60 campaign, John Kennedy was running down. He was very hoarse. He had Addison's disease and his back injury. And his friend Chuck Spaulding said, there's this great doctor. Everybody uses Gore Vidal and Truman Capote, and, you know, he's the doctor to the stars. He has this drug. I think he can really get you over, you know, your back. And so he took John Kennedy, JFK, who was a senator at that point, running for president, to his office on Lexington Avenue. And John Kennedy walks into this shabby office, and out comes Max Jacobson in this lab coat with blood stains all over it. His nails are dirty. And he said, "Are you out of your mind, Chuck?" And Chuck said, No. I'm telling you, John, this guy, Jack, this guy is incredible. Jack Kennedy walked in barely, because he really had crutches at that point, because his back was just really aggravated from being on the campaign road.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked in, and he walked out a new man. He said, "Chuck, this is incredible." All of his pain, his back pain, and his voice came back. And from that moment on, he was the doctor to Jack Kennedy. I mean, he treated him almost like 3 times a week.
Jeez, with injections?
He injected in his neck. And the incredible thing is, here's the race is very, very tight. Here come the debates, and he demands that Max Jacobson be there on the set when the Nixon Kennedy debates began. And Nixon comes in, you know, he's unshaven and
no makeup.
So Kennedy gets injected right in the neck, and it's instant. So this energy comes from Kennedy. He seems youthful and vibrant, and you know that probably was the tipping point when people saw Jack Kennedy as this vibrant, youthful, all this energy, and a lot of this energy comes from the methamphetamine that he created.
Now, is this the same kind of methamphetamine that we saw in Breaking Bad? Those kinds of TV shows?
No, it's a different type of methamphetamine where his was a injectable rather than
snorting.
Where they snorting or other you know, where they could smoke it. He injected it right into either the neck or an ankle or into a wrist area, and it was instant, and it was far more powerful, far more potent than what they're even that kind of methamphetamine.
Did it go right into the carotid artery?
It went right into the artery. You know, it was instant energy, and everybody I've talked to who really were patients of Max Jacobson great actors. They would go on stage, even from Sinatra, they gave that energy.
Oh, Richard, stay with us. Going to hit the break, but we'll come right back and talk more about Dr. Feelgood. That's the name of the book, right here on Coast to Coast AM.
Never miss a detail on a show or a guest. Sign up for the Coast Zone email newsletter, available for free at coasttocoastam.com.
KFI, news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks.
I'm Michael Crozier in the KFI newsroom. Hundreds of people have been arrested during the Labor Day weekend electronic music festival in San Bernardino County. The three-day nocturnal wonderland rave started Friday. 111 people were arrested that night just during security screening at the entrance to the San Manuel Amphitheater in Devore. 141 people were arrested Saturday. Offenses included drug possession, drug sales, assault, battery, being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. One person, though, was arrested for indecent exposure. 2 accidents on carnival rides in 2 states over the weekend have left more than a dozen people hurt. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez says carnival ride mishaps are not considered common.
Americans take 1 billion carnival rides annually, and injuries are rare, though about 13,000 suffer injuries requiring emergency room visits every year.
8 people in Tennessee were injured Saturday when the ride operator accidentally hit a button and tossed them around on the Moonraker. That's the big circular ride that spins, sticking riders to the walls. 6 children in Chicago were also hurt on a ride Saturday, but police say those injuries are not serious. The charity that used to rely on our Labor Day telethon is reaching out in different ways.
The Muscular Dystrophy Association dropped Jerry Lewis as its national chairman 5 years ago and dropped the telethon last year. Now, MDA leadership says it's doing more outreach and fundraising online and says it's doubling spending on research toward drug development and clinical trials. The group says in 2014 it received about $135 million in contributions compared to $183 in 2007. Staffing levels have also dropped by more than 30%, and the money invested in research has been cut in half. Aaron Bender, KFI News.
Traffic from the helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center, Sigler, downtown.
Northbound side of the 110, this is right past 9th Street. Police activity here. Only the far left lane is open. Everything else is shut down. That has you pretty stacked up right now as you come away from Adams. In Norwalk, on the southbound side of the 5, just before Carmenita, you have a crash in the right lane. Tow truck is on the scene here. Your ride just a little sluggish on this one as you come away from the Rosecrans exit. And we heard from JJ on the Ralph Saving You Time traffic line, 888-500-5003. Give us an update in Mission Hills, eastbound side of the 118 at the 405. We had an accident that was in lanes, but the good news here, CHP ran to break up both vehicles over to the right shoulder now. KFI traffic now with even more coverage of where you drive most. I'm Ryan Duggan.
Patchy clouds, a little fog this morning, lows just above 60 degrees. Gradual clearing today and a degree or two warmer, just above 70 at the beaches, around 80, 90 inland, a little warmer Wednesday, and then a little cooler from that point on. It's 64 in Burbank. Stay connected with KFI News on the hour and a half when it breaks. Also online at KFIAM640.com. I'm Michael Crozier.
Today when you get home, your upstairs rooms are going to be really, really hot. So what do? Try this. Don't waste any more money on air conditioning and call me, Kevin Page from FanInstaller.com. We'll put in a Quiet Cool whole house fan system and push the heat right out of your house. Quiet Cool fans are satisfaction guaranteed and save up to 90% on cooling bills. Call 855-226-5577 or FanInstaller.com. 855-226-5577. License 979723.
You give to all kinds of stuff. From your buddy Jim, who's helping a cause that sounds good, to your cousin's random crowdfunding project. And now, you can give to another cause. You. Because 1 in 3 of us isn't saving enough for retirement, Prudential is hosting the 4.01k Race for Retirement on September 17th. It's a fun run that helps you save more for you. Join us on September 17th at the Rose Bowl. Register for free at run401k.com. Prudential Insurance Company of America, Newark, New Jersey.
You want to start the day with good hair. A good hair day is important whether you're 8 or you're 80, and I have the solution for you. Cell Therapy by Ovation, a unique breakthrough treatment found in no other hair care line. Cell Therapy treatment uses a special formula that delivers vital proteins and key nutrients to the hair and scalp, resulting in less breakage. I've noticed that my hair feels fuller since using Ovation Cell Therapy treatment. It's noticeably thicker, stronger, longer, and healthier looking. Ovation, by the way, offers a 365-day 100% money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Take advantage of promotional periods like right now. Ovation is celebrating Labor Day with a 15% off special price for a limited time. Go to ovationhair.com and be sure to select KFI AM 640 at checkout because Ovation is now giving an extra special Labor Day discount to new customers. That's ovationhair.com and make sure to click on KFI AM 640 at checkout. Or if you're heading to the LA County Fair, find Ovation in Expo Hall 4 with special Ovation Fair discounts. Ovationhair.com.
Hi, I'm Mike O'Brien, CEO of Postings.com. BBB knows that we pride ourselves on helping businesses of all sizes find the best candidates for their open positions. Earning an A-plus rating from the BBB demonstrates our commitment to providing exceptional customer service. We strive to make hiring easy. Our BBB accreditation proves that you can trust us to help you find your next great employee. Postings.com invites you to check out our reviews at bbb.org or post your jobs at postings.com.
Do you have tax problems? Why haven't you called the Tax Rescue Group yet? Hi, it's Mark Thompson. I've been talking to you about the Tax Rescue Group for a long time now because I know what this is like. These tax bills compound with penalty and interest, and whether it's business or personal, the IRS or the state of California, and by the way, the state of California Franchise Tax Board is brutal. They are worse than the IRS. They are quick with liens and garnishments. You need the Tax Rescue Group. I know the guys at the Tax Rescue Group. They are honest, reputable, and hardworking, and they're so proud of their high success rate. A KFI listener owed just over $123,000, and the Tax Rescue Group settled his debt for just over $13,000 from $123,000. And by the way, the $13,000 is payable over the course of 24 months. It doesn't matter how much you owe. The Tax Rescue Group can protect your livelihood. They're available to you 7 days a week, and the Tax Rescue Group number is 888-241-5757. 888-241-5757. 888-241-5757, or go to taxrescuegroup.com.
KFI, an iHeart radio station. Frank in San Diego.
I was not initially a fan of your show, but you guys have worn me down or something. But I
think you've just given up the fight, and we appreciate that.
No, I haven't.
Stay connected. Gary and Shannon, this morning at 10.
KFI, AM 640.
What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons, a number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
You're listening to Coast AM with George Norrie.
A few little Labor Day songs for you tonight. We're going to be back in a moment with Richard Lichman as we talk about Dr. Feelgood. Hey, are you a Coast Insider yet? You can be for the nominal cost of 15 cents a day. That's it. To become part of the member of the fun exclusive club where you download, podcast, participate in our chats, and just have some fun. Just by being a Coast Insider. We'll be back.
KFI, AM 640.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dynovite. This stuff is amazing. The first day that I gave Sweet Pea and Daisy the Dynovite for cats, I did add a little bit of the Lick-a Chops, and they absolutely loved it. All the vitamins, the minerals, they also enjoyed the num-nums, the nub-nubs or whatever they're called, the treats that also came along with it. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
They're just running through the house. They're playing. My Sweet Pea will walk in front of me. She'll stop where she's at, drop, and roll onto her back, and then expect me to rub her belly, just like a kitten. Daisy and Susie have a cat tree in my living room, and lately she's been climbing up to the top, jumping up there, and then she'll climb back down, and then she's right back up again. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish they would make a product for us humans to give us the same amount of energy and funk that Dynovite for cats are giving for my cats. The phone number is 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, Coast to Coast listeners. It's MZ from KSCO in Santa Cruz. We bring you CriticalHealthNews.com with Dr. Wallach and pharmacist Ben. Doc Wallach's monthly 2-hour visits to Coast AM are very popular. So many people want to talk to Doc to get his advice about how to deal with their health challenges naturally rather than by using toxic prescription drugs. But there's never enough time to get to all the questions. That's why we have installed a terrific new feature on CriticalHealthNews.com. We call it Doc on Demand, and it's prominently displayed on the home page. Click on the Doc on Demand button, and it will take you to an enormous archive of thousands of Doc Wallach's Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio shows that we have produced each weekday at KSCO since September of 1996. Enter the health condition you want Doc's take on in the search window, and presto, a list of shows that covered that topic will magically appear, and you can listen and search to your heart's content. CriticalHealthNews.com keeps getting better. Check it out.
KFI, AM 640.
And welcome back to Coast. Richard Lutzman with us. His book, Dr. Feelgood. He co-wrote it with Bill Burns. Bill, of course, wrote 3 books with me and also wrote the bestseller The Day After Roswell on the story of Colonel Philip Corso. Bill is a great researcher, Richard, is he?
Oh, Bill is incredible. Bill is one of the brilliant minds. I love working with him.
And he starred in UFO Hunters, too. That was a great TV show.
Yes, he did.
So he's injecting JFK. JFK is beginning to feel great. Then he starts into Jackie. How did that happen?
Jackie had a miscarriage, and she suffered from postpartum depression. And he brought Jackie. She was about to do the White House tour, and Jack Kennedy brought in Max Jacobson, injected Jackie, and Jackie was very camera shy. This gave her that kind of that energy and confidence that she didn't have. And after that, she was a patient of Max Jacobson up until he got disbarred, and even after that.
And how did the word get around, Richard, that Max was the Dr. Feelgood type? How did all these other superstars get to him?
He started out, he was actually a self-promoter. He started out in the late 40s, and he started treating Eddie Cantor. He started treating, actually, Eddie Fisher was the first major star. He was working at the Borscht Belt and working at the Catskills, and Eddie Fisher became a big customer. Milton Blackstone was Eddie's manager and his PR man, and he was a patient of Max Jacobson. And so word spread around Broadway that he could cure you. He can get you on stage, give you this great energy. So all of a sudden, agents, the agent for Rod Serling, the same agent was Rod Serling, Truman Capote, Tennessee Williams. She was one of the great literary agents. She thought it brought Patty Chayefsky, she thought it brought energy and creativity. Or she didn't know the effects of what it was. So a lot of these great writers who were writing television dramas, especially Chayefsky and Serling, were writing, because there were so many blacklisted writers, they were just doing script after script. And Rod was writing Patterns and Requiem for a Heavyweight and The Comedian and all these great dramas. And this kind of gave him that energy and that creative flow. And so a lot of writers went to him, and then a lot of performers. Eddie brought Elizabeth Taylor, at that time his friend, and then eventually his wife, as a patient. And then it spread like wildfire throughout the entertainment community.
Was it legal to inject people?
It was not a class 2 narcotic, which it eventually became. So it was not illegal because no one knew the contents. It wasn't approved by the FDA, but it was over the counter, and amphetamine was over the counter at that point. So it was not illegal, but there was a very gray area of what he was doing.
Did he feel good about his patients?
He would like to be in a position of power and control. He liked to control the lives of his patients. Marilyn Monroe was his patient. In fact, when Marilyn Monroe sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President," people assume here's Marilyn Monroe and she's drinking, she's tipsy. She was actually injected with 30 milligrams of methamphetamine.
Jeez, that's probably why she was late coming out on stage.
That's exactly why she was late. Max was sitting there with a bag. Jack Kennedy brought him in, and he injected her in the neck, and she came out and had that slurry "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Now you talk about control, Richard. Bobby Kennedy, the president's brother and attorney general, watched over the president like crazy.
Yes.
How did he let Dr. Feelgood do these things to his brother?
I got to know a gentleman named Michael Samick. He became the senior vice president of ITT. Brilliant man. He emigrated from Czechoslovakia, became a great war hero, United States war hero, with the silent gliders. A brilliant man. He had his own private jet, and he would fly Max to Washington like 3 times a week. On one of his trips, and I got to interview Michael, and I got to know him very well, and he was in his late 80s. And Michael flew with Max. What Max didn't know is that Bobby Kennedy had taken out vials out of Max's bag during one of his trips and had it analyzed. And here he found out, it was methamphetamine, steroids, human placenta, and Bobby was fuming. So when Max and Michael walked through the gates to see the president, Bobby was red-faced, and he said, "I know what you're doing. I know exactly, you're just," and he called him an anti-Semitic name, and he said, "I know exactly what you're doing. You're never going to treat my brother. Go back to New York, take your bag, take your crap with you, and never come here ever again." So Max Jacobson went back to New York and wrote a letter of resignation that he sent to Evelyn Lincoln, who was the president's secretary. And the president went berserk. I mean,
this was his thing, right?
He depended on it, and Jackie depended on it. So he flew to the Carlisle Hotel in New York City, which was his getaway. And he called up Max Jacobson, and he said, "Dr. Jacobson, I need you here right now. You cannot resign." So he came in, and they made amends, and Max injected him with 30 milligrams of methamphetamine. And he said, no, I've been away from it for a week. Give me a double dose.
Oh, my God.
And he gave a double dose of methamphetamine.
This is to the president.
This is to the president of the United States. And Paul Landis, who was the Secret Service agent to John Kennedy, was standing there. And as soon as Max left, the president went through a psychotic breakdown. He started taking off all of his clothes, started running naked up and down the Carlisle Hotel. Then he was going down the stairwell, and in the floor below were all the reporters.
Oh.
So here's Paul Landis said, "We don't know what to do. We can't put the president in a straitjacket. This is a man who controls the atomic bomb. I mean, he has to face with them."
He's running around nude.
And he's running around nude. So they call up, and we got to interview Larry Hatterer. Dr. Larry Hatterer was the chief of psychiatry at Cornell University and Cornell Hospital. And Larry Hatterer came in and injected the president with a downer that brought him down. And he asked the Secret Service, he goes, who treated this? He said, Dr. Max Jacobson. So he called him up. He said, "Dr. Jacobson, my name is Larry Hatterer. I'm the chief of psychiatry. I just treated the president. What did you give him?" And he goes, "I can't tell you. It's a secret formula. But what I can do is you come to my office, Dr. Hatterer, and I will give you an injection, and then you can see what it does." And so, Larry Hatterer said, "There's no way." And even though he went through that episode, he remained John Kennedy's doctor throughout the rest of his life.
Could this injection have killed Kennedy or anybody else who got it?
This injection could kill him, and it also affected his thinking, his process. Max Jacobson traveled with John Kennedy to the Vienna Summit. He was there with them during the Cuban Missile Crisis. We've got all the plane logs. We went to the Freedom of Information Act and got file after file. We went to the Kennedy Library, and the Kennedy White House physicians, Janet Travell and the other doctors, hated this man. They thought, because they hear Janet Travell was treating him with Procaine and Novocaine for his back, and they didn't know what to do. And Kennedy just was adamant that he remain as his personal physician. And absolutely, in the end, if Kennedy survived, I mean, who knows what effect? But it was a bad effect. It affected everybody who took methamphetamine from Max Jacobson. Really were affected in the end in an adverse way.
Jacobson died in '79, 16 years after Kennedy died. Did he continue treating people even after Kennedy died?
He continued as a physician, very powerful in New York, had a lot of friends, and the New York Times at the point of Watergate were anxious to get a story, so they were tipped off. And this is Brent Rensenberger from the New York Times, who read a team of reporters, really some of the top reporters in the New York Times. They were tipped off that Spiro Agnew was a patient of a man named Max Jacobson. So Brent Rensenberger and Dr. Larry Altman, who's also a reporter for the New York Times, he wasn't until recently, staked out Max's office. And he was under the radar. Nobody knew, the celebrities knew who he was, but the Times and really no insiders knew who Max Jacobson was. And they stood outside the office and they watched as Truman Capote, Alan J. Lerner, Senator Claude Pepper, writers, politicians, they would come out of his office and they just could not believe what they saw. So they went into Max's office, and Max thought this is the time that he's going to be recognized. So he told them, he said, I was a doctor to John Kennedy. I'm still a doctor to Jackie Kennedy. And Larry Altman, who's a physician also, besides being a reporter for the New York Times, saw blood dripping from Max's, he had just taken an injection. So Max brought out the vial. He said, I'll show you the vial. And in it was radioactive rocks. When you shut the lights, they lit up in the dark, his vial of methamphetamine. And he was proud of it. He told them all about it. And as they started digging, they started interviewing Jackie Kennedy. They interviewed Larry Altman, who we talked about earlier, who treated Kennedy, brought him down from that drug in the Carlisle. They did a massive expose in the New York Times in 1972, front page. It exposed, Tennessee Williams said, he almost killed me. Truman Capote said he just, I wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's and I wrote In Cold Blood with this, but he almost killed me. I felt like Superman, but then I crashed. And then,
and they were addicted to this too, weren't they?
They were addicted to it, and besides that, it destroyed their creative process. It was great in the beginning, but it eventually destroyed them. And he was exposed. And what happened was, before that, was that Richard Nixon he knew that Kennedy was treated with the methamphetamine before the debates. So he had come to Max Jacobson, and Max Jacobson had treated him a little bit, but he then refused when he found out Nixon was drinking heavily. And Jacobson,
bad combination, I guess,
he
right?
He refused to. Anybody who drank that heavy could not be treated with the drug. And when he did that, he had an enemy in Nixon. And Nixon brought down, he created really laws and everything to prevent people like Max Jacobson from practicing.
Wow. He went after Jacobson through the FTC, probably, right?
He did. He created a lot of it. The laws in 72, the drug laws that were created really for Max Jacobson. He had that much of an effect, and Nixon really brought down the house on Max Jacobson, who was eventually disbarred through New York State. Took quite a few years.
Why did Jackie throw Feelgood under the bus?
Jackie when he was being tried or being disbarred and taken before the New York, she was panic-stricken. She thought, he's going to expose me when he goes before the board. And she brought Louis Nizer, who was a famed attorney, and she said, Max, Louis will represent you. Louis will take care of all your bills. Do not talk about me. Talk in generalities about my husband, but just very general. And, we've always trusted you, and you can't expose us.
It's got to be doctor-patient relationship, right?
She was panic-stricken that this would come out. So Chuck Spaulding and everybody in the inside of the Kennedys came to Max and said, listen, we'll take care of you. In fact, they didn't take care of him. I got to know Max's wife, who just said, Jackie was just, she just really disliked her, and that they all threw Max under the bus. And once he got disbarred, he was really a broken man.
All kinds of theories on what happened to John F. Kennedy, the assassination. Whether Oswald acted alone, I don't think he did. That's one of the theories. Some people say that he was going to reveal stories about UFOs. They wanted to do him in there. And there's also, as you've talked about, the CIA maybe wanted to eliminate JFK because he was an addicted person?
What really alerted the CIA was that episode at the Carlisle. Because here's the man with his finger on the nuclear warheads with the codes.
Stoned out of his mind, basically.
And he's absolutely out of his mind. And he had the same reaction that when Kennedy traveled to the Vienna summit, here he's meeting with Nikita Khrushchev, and Max Jacobson is sitting right next to him in a vestibule. He injects the president with 30 milligrams of methamphetamine. He goes in, but Khrushchev is brilliant. He's brilliant in gamemanship. He knew how to play Kennedy, and he had inside information on Kennedy that he was addicted to methamphetamine. So he made Kennedy wait and wait and wait. And then as the drug was wearing off, Kennedy ran out again to Max Jacobson And he said, inject me again. He goes, Mr. President, this is going to affect you. He goes, no. And he demanded that he inject him with another 30 milligrams of meth. So here's the president, gets injected again. He comes into Khrushchev, and he's slurring his words. He can't talk. And here's Khrushchev, who knew, here's this.
He knew what was going on, right?
And he knew exactly, because Max Jacobson was an agent, had given information to the KGB. Here's Khrushchev, who knew he had this man, and he really had no respect for him. And Kennedy can't negotiate. He can't do anything. He can barely speak to Khrushchev. And when he walks out, Kennedy knew exactly that he was overdrugged. And here's the CIA who's looking at this and goes, this man, we're in big trouble. And the Dulleses could not stand Kennedy. And so we've talked to Secret Service agents. We even talked to we've talked to certain CIA operatives who told us, I mean, they were all panic-stricken that our country would be destroyed if Kennedy continued on with Max Jacobson.
He was destructive, and he was out of control, wasn't he? Kennedy.
He was, and the drug does all kinds of. This is not a typical taking amphetamine or methamphetamine or something like we see with Walter White. This is far more effective, far more potent, and what he created. And I've talked firsthand to people like Andy Williams, who was a patient. Angie Dickinson, Burt Bacharach, people who were patients of Max, and they told me how potent it was. Johnny Mathis. It's just...
Jeez, he had them all.
Oh, the patient list just, when you go, it's a who's who of writers and performers. Cecil B. DeMille was a patient of his.
Rod Serling?
Rod Serling was a patient of his. Rod Serling, part of what we did was I was doing research about Bob Cummings, who was a great actor, who was a patient of Max's. And
he was a comedian, right?
He was an A-list actor for Hitchcock, and then he became a comedian.
Yeah, I remember him.
He had a show called Love That Bob.
That's right.
And he was a patient, and he did an episode of The Twilight Zone called King 9 Will Not Return. And I got to talk to Del Reisman, who was the producer and writer with Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone. And they traveled out to Barstow. And Rod Serling smoked a lot, and he ate huge steaks. And Bob Cummings was a health fanatic. He took vitamin pills, and he ate very carefully and all health foods. And he said, Rod, you're not going to live to 50.
And that's how old he was when he died.
When he died. And Bob Cummings and Rod Serling were both patients of Rod Serling. And
you mean of Max?
Max Jacobson. They were both patients of Max Jacobson. For Rod did not continue as a patient of Max Jacobson, while Bob Cummings did his whole life, and it destroyed his career.
Let's talk about Elvis, Richard, when we come back, and we'll take some phone calls as well. Richard Lertzman, our special guest, the book Dr. Feelgood that he wrote with Bill Burns, and we'll be back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM.
The Coast website is now conveniently optimized for mobile devices. If you're a Coast insider, you can listen to live and past shows right on your phone. Just visit coasttocoastam.com on your iPhone or Android browser.
AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Good morning, Uncle Bubba. I made breakfast if you're hungry.
Thanks, Jose. Looks better than this pocket donut I was chomping on yesterday. Heading out for another day of unclogging drains for $99.
Yes, lots of unclogging. But this time of year, we start getting a lot of air conditioning repair as well.
Air conditioning? You smell good plumbers at McDiamond do that, too?
On central units, yes. But we don't do window units.
Huh. Maybe I should add air conditioning repair to Stinky's Router services.
Could you get to most calls within an hour?
Absolutely not.
stopped.
Could you do repairs on the spot without having to make another trip for parts?
No way, Jose.
I wouldn't do it, Uncle Baba. Nobody wants inconvenient air conditioning repair from Stinky when they can have convenient air conditioning repair from a smell good plumber.
I'm Mike Diamond, and I guarantee my plumbers will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free. Having an issue with your air conditioner? Call a smell good plumber at Mike Diamond at 1-800-446-MIKE. Contractor license 399170. KFI.
And KOST HD2 in Los Angeles.
News on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks.
It did take a while. I'm Michael Crozier. Police have arrested a man after an hours-long standoff in Commerce. CHP officers tried to pull the guy over late Sunday night in San Juan Capistrano on suspicion of DUI. He took police on a pursuit through Orange County, then north to Commerce, where he ditched his car and walked into a building.
While he was inside that business, he started brandishing his firearm at the employees in there, waving in a threatening manner, pointing it at the employees, things like that.
LA County Sheriff Sergeant Bob Bose says the workers left the building. The man was arrested about 12 hours later. Some cargo ships near Long Beach have become giant buoys. The bankruptcy of a South Korean shipping company has stopped the company from unloading at the ports. Congresswoman Janice Hahn says that could cost jobs in the South Bay.
This is clearly about commerce being stalled right now.
Hanjin filed a bankruptcy last week. The company has stopped docking because it doesn't have the money to pay the ports. A high school football player in the high desert's been in the hospital since game night.
The player, Bruce Henderson, a defensive tackle on the Sultana High School football team, was injured in the final minute of Friday night's game. Moments after a helmet-to-helmet hit, the 17-year-old senior collapsed. He was taken to the hospital where doctors performed emergency surgery to relieve growing pressure on his brain. The high school tweeted out that Henderson has opened his eyes and given a thumbs up. The school is planning a fundraiser on Wednesday. There is also a YouCaring.com account set up for him. Chris Ancarlo, KFI News.
President Obama says he's talked about Russian cyber intrusions with President Vladimir Putin during the G20 summit in China.
We're going to have enough problems in the cyberspace with non-state actors who are engaging in theft and using the internet for all kinds of illicit practices.
Some federal security officials have said Russian insiders might have been behind the hacking of the Democratic Party this summer. Obama said yesterday America is the best equipped country for both defensive and offensive cyber warfare. The European Space Agency's Rosetta space probe has found its lost lander. It apparently was wedged in a dark crack on the side of a comet. The lander touched down on the comet 2 years ago, but bounced from its intended site. Scientists couldn't find it, but knew the general location. Rosetta's camera finally captured an image of the lander weeks before the space probe intentionally crashed into the comet. Rosetta will. Air-conditioned shirts might soon be a thing.
Researchers at Stanford say they have developed a fabric that can keep skin 3 degrees cooler than cotton. Until now, a fabric that could release that much heat would have to be transparent. Not great for clothing. But when a material similar to plastic food wrap was treated with the right size of micropores, it was no longer see-through. In a few years, they hope to have chill clothing and building materials that will help save energy by making people less likely to crank up the AC. Terry Answer, KFI News.
Traffic from the helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center, Sigler, DTLA.
Yeah, it's the northbound side of the 110, right at the 10. That's where police activity has all lanes shut down. It's actually closed from the 10 to just past Olympic. Your ride pretty heavy as you come away from Adams. I'm seeing those delays on the SoCal Honda traffic jam. What they're doing here is diverting all traffic onto the 10 freeway. The 10 East and West connectors to the 110 North are also shut down because of this. If your travel's taking you through Burbank, eastbound side of the 134 before Forest Lawn, the right lane is toned off while they wait on some crews to repair some guardrail that was damaged in an earlier accident. And in Anaheim, southbound side of the 5 at Brookhurst, you have a wreck in the 2 right lanes. CHP's on the scene. Watch for looky-loo delays. KFI is the talk station with the most frequent traffic reports. I'm Ryan Duggan.
Praise the Lord, or the Lincoln in the front pew. Next.
This is the Legal Minute with super lawyer Darren Kavanoki, founder of 1-800-NO-CUFFS. On the phone we have Susan. You got a question for Darren?
Yeah, hi, Darren. What about those field sobriety tests? Do I really have to take them?
These tests are optional, and anything that you do on those roadside gymnastics
All those so-called tests like standing on one leg, touching your nose, saying the alphabet backwards. All of that stuff is designed to help the prosecutor get a conviction in court. But here's the key. It's not just that you can say no, it's how you say no. The best thing to do is to link your saying no to exercising your right to an attorney. So say, I'd love to cooperate, but my lawyer would kill me. And then call 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Hey, thanks so much for the call. If you're ever in trouble, call us at 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Because remember, no one looks good in handcuffs. You know, unless you're into that sort of thing.
I counted on my Medicare and Medi-Cal cards every day. Then I heard about a simple plan from Anthem Blue Cross and called 1-844-64-ANTHEM. This plan goes beyond the basic health benefits of original Medicare, with all kinds of extra benefits like help paying for dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses, plus allowances on everyday items like vitamins and toothpaste. Now, my Anthem Blue Cross card gives me the extra benefits I deserve, all for a $0 plan premium.
If you have Medicare and Medi-Cal, talk to one of our representatives. Call 1-844-64-ANTHEM. That's 1-844-642-6843. Call 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Paid after portrayal. This information is not a complete description of benefits. Contact the plan for more information. Limitations, copayments, and restrictions may apply. Benefits, premiums, and/or copayments, coinsurance may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. Anthem Blue Cross is the trade name of Blue Cross of California. Independent licensee of the Blue Cross Association.
Today's economy forced Dr. Kim to make a decision about his money.
In a savings account, you're not making any money at all. I have some money in stocks and mutual funds, and I don't trust the market.
His prescription, real estate. The problem?
I can't do it on my own. I just didn't really know how to make it happen. And that's when a friend introduced me to Home Union.
Home Union makes it as easy as buying stocks with their end-to-end real estate solution.
You could figure all these things out on your own, or you could leverage the power of a team to do all this for you.
The concept is simple. You invest, they do the rest. Home Union does it all. But what about market stability?
Sorry, it doesn't really matter to me whether the market goes up or down. I'm still going to be getting cash flow from these investment properties.
They'll even help you sell when you're ready. Use your IRA with no tax penalties.
Call now for a free consultation. 800-344-8881.
Follow Dr. Kim's lead.
I'm going to build my own personal empire, one house at a time. Yeah, go to Home Union, definitely.
800-3...
That's awesome. I always loved ground sport. Ground sport is my favorite. Yeah, they are right. set it there. I'll find somebody who will want it. Okay. You need something to write on? No, it's a light flavor. Oh. Hey, hang on, man. I'll give him the money for you. Hang on. I have money. I just got you whatever you told her to get. Right. Do you need any features? I just got this today. No? Oh, that's a good choice. No, yeah, that's awesome, bro. Up in that butane? No, I'm good, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it, man. I've got plenty of stuff here. I need to get rid of some of it, but I don't know what yet. I'm figuring that out. I gave you his cigarette. You give me his cigarette. I'm over. Hey, that's Hey, one of those fucking guys. My name's Devil. Yeah, big balls, brother, right here in the middle of Hollywood. Big balls. Why? You're like busting your shit out right here in the middle of Hollywood, bro. That's alright. I'm a white man. Hey, you're a white man too. I am a white man, bro. No, not white. To the heart. No, live. Live? Yeah, live. Yeah, I'm live right now. Live. We're on YouTube. Oh, I'm actually recording. Hey, why is that? He's being. I've seen you. Hey, can I try that? Yeah, man. As long as you stick here, but keep your stick here out. And straight out. I'm looking for a stick. If I had better bearings, I think bearings dip really fast. It dips. What did you think of? I didn't make it. I purchased it. Yeah? I see another dent right there. That's alright. I like dents on my board. I love dents on my board. What is that book? Oh, do you want to take a look at it? You're an artist? You're an artist? Oh, this is hard. Wow. I mean, that's me, because I ain't trying to get you quick what you're doing. I can't say, I can't keep that term like to Hollywood. It's all great. We do have from Venice to Santa Monica, Hollywood, Culver City. Everyone's new to me. We're scratching your butt. Hey, we're in front of company. What happened to him? Anything else? No. I thought for it. Damn, first one. Rocky and then Johnny. Wow. Skeet Hill. Bring your paperwork on that. I don't got paperwork. Say shit about me. No, I don't know nobody. As well as I would like to go. Especially people that are whole close. I don't know because two people I'm talking my backyard. Within a month and a half. Yeah, within a month and a half. In my backyard. I'm cheating in my truck. I'm waiting. Yeah. And in my backyard trying to steal something. Yeah, trying to steal my bike or my kid's food. Yeah. Everybody's being home by yourself. Hey, ball, you got pot there. My neighbor upstairs told my wife to see a fish. You ever shot the fish? What the fuck are you doing, dude? What's that? What are you? Anyone else want to take it before it goes in the car? No, I'm good, man. That's cool. I'm coming to get one. Oh, okay. That's for a fucking plan to get a rat. You got a deal on the devil? I think I did, bro. Am I making a deal with the devil to do this, sir? I'll get you a rat. Don't go over this man. Don't. No, dog. Hey. Hey, are they still open? The stand is open. Oh, it's on top. I know, straight up. I got work tomorrow. I'll say I got work tomorrow. I'm never going to I just pissed my ass. I'm trying to gun charge. I started one. The judge ain't the problem, though. It's fucking damn cops. They're left right now. Can I tell you something, Devil? I was doing fucking hard on the one. It's not a judge anyway. That son of a bitch is fucking old. You know what I'm talking about. Fucking, oh, what are you doing? Somebody fucking follow report. What am I fucking doing, aren't you, asshole? Shut up. And I had to be all super prim proper instead of talking like old man. Right. Yeah, because they're like so super. What's that? Because they're like so super. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It fucking drives me fucking batshit, bro. Fucking, yeah, thank you. Can I get a pound for that devil, please? Hey, every now and then I need to see the devil. Every now and then. I told the judge that on our last birthday. I told him that. And just before I even knew I had you got charged. Yeah, I've been kicked in the hell so many times. They keep kicking me out. They fucking county. Oh shit! I just noticed the pajamas. If there was a real LA County jail, pajamas. Pajamas. Took a long time to get this fucking thing. I like the keys though. Yeah, I know, it's pretty rad. Like 88? Where'd you see it? What guys do you know in Santa Cruz? Like the one that's like 88. That's like 88. That's my alley, that's why I asked. That's my alley, that's why I asked. Okay, I'm cool. I got you. No, I got it. The long stuff. What's that? Huh? How long have you been out here? I just pulled it out here after being in bed. And I was like, oh. Are you still flying? Fucking freeway. Still flying your favorite day? Those are legit bags. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's legit. That's sexy. Oh, right. You can't mess with that. Hey, remember the Alamo, bitch? Yeah, remember the Alamo. There you go. That's right. There you go. Remember the Alamo, motherfucker. You're behind that, and that's all they. Alamo, bitch. Period. Oh, good thanks for that. It's all forever. But you couldn't bring him down. I'm sorry, what? Just that. Man, America owes me money. America? Fucking this country, can I tell you? Fucking bitch ass America. Can I tell you how much I love this country? I love it. I am a fucking will not see my colors. You know what the reality of it is that you and I, we both are real people. Whether you chose to fight with fucking this fucking or the one that that's right. And I understand why you want to try to do this. Hey, Chief. Come here for a minute, please. I'm looking for trashy bitches only. I'm trashy bitches that sorry, it's nothing fancy here, man. It's just fucking El Paso swag, but you know, it'll do the job. It'll get you fucking stoned. I just don't want to put it in the light right now. Any hate? But just don't kill it, but just roll a blunt and then let me know when you're finished and I'll put it away. Hey, what did you paint, though? Can I show you one of my pieces? What style? I am, okay, thanks for that question. I would be considered a conceptual. With conceptual artists who basically just take everything and walk around with what a lot of well, I find that humans in general, for love and affections, they're what see, now here's something that we're not going. There's no young head. Yeah, oh, bad. This is grown stuff, right? So, some folks, when they get, especially men, boys. So, look at our boys have this expectation, but we don't have a traditional feel, right? Well, we don't when we punch something, that's when we physically feel pain. Right, that's what I was referring to. So when women hit 12 and 12, you got it done, thank you. Oh yeah, so that they have to get but the men share. Although the men share it, but the men never understand. Because here's what they see. They see two dudes standing around the well, okay, yeah, I get a boy. I get that you're a boy.